The anime begins with Tomo confessing to her best friend that she loves him, but Jun sees her as a boy, so he thinks that she loves him as a friend. To hide her embarrassment, she plays along. The next day in the classroom, Tomo tells her friend Misuzu about the failed love confession, and Misuzu says that she is not surprised because since she was a child, Tomo refused to play girls' games and she only plays boys' sports. But Tomo doesn't want this to continue like this, so Misuzu advises her to speak more delicately, like a girl. After that, Tomo goes to talk to Jun and tries to soften her voice, but he says that she sounds like an old man, which angers Tomo and she punches him, which starts a fight as usual. When she gets home, Tomo's father sees that she has bruises on her cheek and asks her if she lost against Jun again, and she emphasizes that she is a girl. The next day, Jun keeps insisting that Tomo forgive him since she has been ignoring him since early, and when he tells her that he can't stand another second without her, she forgives him. At lunchtime, Misuzu forces Jun to eat with them as she finds it ridiculous that Tomo and Jun don't eat together when the two spend the day together all the time. But that only makes Tomo more nervous because Jun makes her feed him, leaving her blushing. Although it may seem strange, only Jun thinks that this situation is normal since his friend Tanabe asks him how far he has got with Tomo, but he thinks that he is talking about their karate sessions. This is heard by Misuzu, who has to clear up the misunderstanding. After school, Misuzu finds Jun waiting indoors. Since it is raining, they both wait for Tomo. Since she is the only one who has an umbrella, Misuzu asks Jun why he didn't join karate club, and he says that he already does karate at Tomo's dojo and is not interested in joining clubs where they are separated by gender, since he would be separated from Tomo. Then Misuzu asks Jun what he will do when Tomo has a boyfriend. That angers Jun and pushes her into the rain. After that, Tomo arrives and Jun wants her to share her umbrella with him, but she turns red and wants to share it with Misuzu, but her friend forces her to share it with Jun. They walk under the umbrella, but Tomo doesn't want to walk near him because she is sweaty and maybe smells bad. But Jun comes closer to sniff her and tells her that she smells nice. She is so embarrassed that she runs away without worrying about getting wet, and when she is caught up by Jun, he sees that her shirt is completely sticking to her body, and for the first time he notices her big. So this time, he is the one who runs away. The next day, Tomo attends the high school karate club, but she is so strong and fierce that she is transferred to the boys' karate club, and the captain of the team, Masaki, immediately develops a crush on her, and she is happy because he sees her as a girl. They get along so well that it awakens jealousy in other girls who are in love with Masaki and challenge Tomo to talk tomorrow. The next day, Misuzu makes fun of Jun and tells him that Tomo has a new friend, which bothers him. So when he sees Tomo, he asks her about this new friend, and she shows him a photo of the karate club. But Masaki is so handsome that Jun thinks he's a girl and his worries go away, so he asks her how she would feel if Misuzu had a boyfriend and wouldn't spend time with her. Then Tomo says that she would feel a little lonely, and Jun agrees with relief. After that, Tomo tells Misuzu about some girls who want to fight with her. But after Tomo explains everything, Misuzu tells her that the girls want a verbal fight, not fists, and in a chilling voice says that if they say something mean to her, she herself will ruin those girls socially. In the afternoon, Tomo meets with those girls and they are scared since they found out that Tomo is very rude, but they quickly clarify that they want to talk about Masaki. It totally changes the atmosphere and Tomo is happy because finally someone wants to ask her for love advice. One day on the bus, Tomo is by an old man and Jun quickly realizes what is happening, so he grabs the old man and turns him over to the authorities. On the way home, Tomo still feels awkward and Jun tells her that she should wear slacks, which makes her angry and she punches him. The next day, Tomo tells Misuzu what happened, and she worries about her friend by checking her entire body, but Tomo assures her that Jun took care of her. Then Misuzu asks her why she wears the school skirt so short with shorts underneath it, and Tomo tells her that it's easier for movement. Misuzu comes up with an idea. She tells Tomo that she should take off her shorts and wear a skirt like all the girls. Tomo thinks that her friend is a but Misuzu assures her that all girls only wear under their skirts. This experiment will help Tomo see Jun's reaction. And just as Misuzu expected, Jun is surprised to see Tomo's long legs without her shorts and very short skirt, and tries not to look at her and protect her from glances on the bus. Then he refuses to walk behind her. So Tomo gets angry and gets in front of him, but unfortunately for her, a gust of wind lifts her skirt and Jun sees her and immediately faints. When he wakes up, he says that he has no right to tell her how she dresses, but she is messing him up, and that pleases her. The next day, Misuzu makes fun of Jun because Tomo told her what happened between them, and she tells him that it will take him a long time to recover this time. He gets upset and stings her forehead so that she leaves him alone. After that, while Tomo and Misuzu talk, they see Carol being surrounded by boys. Carol is like the school idol. She is cute, adorable, blonde, a little dumb, and lived in England for a while. In the afternoon, Tomo meets Masaki and Carol. She tells Tomo that they are engaged and believes that Tomo is a boy, but Masaki apologizes for her and tells Carol that Tomo is a girl. This confuses Carol and she gets upset. although it doesn't show on her face. And now, every time she sees Tomo, she walks up to her and calls her dummy. Then Tomo tells Misuzu the situation, and she realizes that Carol is jealous of the friendship between Masaki and Tomo, but she doesn't tell her. The next day, Carol goes to talk to Misuzu. She wants to defeat Tomo, and that gives Misuzu an idea. She wants Jun and Tomo to be together as a couple, so she tells Carol what she has to do. Misuzu's plan is for Carol to ask Jun to train her to defeat a girl, and he agrees, but quickly realizes that she is unable to fight anyone because she has no strength, and she is not athletic at all. When Tomo finds out that Carol is being trained by Jun, she runs to interrogate him and demand that he tell her why he is with Carol, and Carol remembers that Misuzu told her that when Tomo finds out about her training with Jun, Carol would realize why Tomo is not a threat to her relationship with Masaki. And Misuzu was right. Carol sees Tomo and Jun together and realizes that Tomo has feelings for Jun, so she informs Tomo that she is no longer her enemy. The next day, Carol asks Tomo to be her friend, although she is afraid to ask her because she is always rejected by the girls. But Tomo accepts her friendship, which makes her happy, and she also asks Misuzu. Later, Tomo tells Jun about her friendship with Carol and asks if he was interested in her, but Jun says that she's not her type, but he blurts out that in the past he dated Misuzu, which leaves Tomo speechless. Tomo takes Misuzu to the rooftop and asks her about her past relationship with Jun, and Misuzu tells her that they dated in the second year of middle school for 3 days. This surprises Tomo, and Misuzu says that this relationship is a black mark in her life because one day he asked her out and the next day he took her cycling for 40 kilometers, and the next day the same. On the third day, she was determined to break up with him, but he beat her to it and broke up with her first. Furthermore, Misuzu assures her that she has no feelings for Jun, which leaves Tomo calm. After that, Misuzu goes to bother Jun and tells him that she already explained their 3-day relationship to Tomo, but Misuzu was remembering, and she remembers that Jun ignored Tomo in the first year of middle school, but when he broke up with her, Jun became Tomo's best friend again, which seems suspicious to Misuzu, but Jun just tells her to leave him alone. The next day, Jun and Tomo meet Masaki at the school gate, and Jun finally finds out that Masaki is a boy and immediately hits him as a reflex. But Tomo forces him to apologize, although Jun challenges him to a match of karate to beat him with all his strength, which makes Tomo's angry again. After that, Jun asks Tomo why she is friend of the captain of the boys' karate club, and he can't believe when Tomo tells him that she was transferred to the boys' club, since he is not in that club because he thought that he would be separated from Tomo. After school, Jun has to go home alone because Tomo decided to spend time with her friends. On the bus, he meets Masaki, and they both talk about how extraordinary Tomo is, and Jun tells Masaki that he can only beat Tomo if the karate match is without rules, and that is why he admires her so much. But the nice moment ends, and Jun threatens Masaki so that he doesn't tell Tomo what they talked about. The next day, Tomo and Masaki talk about Jun, and she thinks that the two of them have already become friends, and that makes her happy because since they became best friends again in the second year of middle school, every time she introduced Jun to a boy to be friends with, he scared them away, which doesn't surprise Masaki because he's still afraid of him. In the afternoon, Misuzu tries to convince Tomo to ask Jun out on a date without it being a date, but she's not sure, and Misuzu tells her that Jun will always do what she wants. And Misuzu is right once again. The next day, Tomo asks Jun if he wants to spend time with her on the weekend, and Jun happily accepts because they haven't spent time alone in a long time. In the afternoon, Carol and Misuzu force Tomo to go shopping, since Tomo only has tomboy clothes, so the two girls put together an outfit for Tomo, a feminine outfit, but with masculine touches so that she does not feel uncomfortable. The weekend arrives and Jun notices the change in Tomo, but says nothing, and they go first to the batting cages, then to the bowling, and finally to a couple's karaoke room. Tomo feels very self-conscious and doesn't know how to start and blames Jun for always accepting what she says. But he says that since they were kids, she always took the initiative to do reckless stuffs, and he always followed her because in the end, he always had fun. Then Tomo only thinks about having fun, so she starts singing children's songs, which amuses Jun so much that he records a video for her. The next day, Tomo's friends can't believe that instead of singing love songs, Tomo just sings children's songs for 3 hours. Meanwhile, Jun can't stop watching Tomo's video. One day, Tomo tells Misuzu that she wishes she could be clingier to her friends. They have never been like that because they have known each other since they were babies, because their mothers have been best friends since they were teenagers. So Misuzu looks for a solution and sends Carol to hug Tomo, but she is too clingy. Every time she sees Tomo, she hugs her. And as the days go by, it bothers Misuzu, but only Tomo notices it, since for others, Misuzu is the same grumpy person as always. They go to the roof and Tomo apologizes to her for not being clingy with her and starts hugging her. But Tomo is so strong that Misuzu quickly regrets it and asks Tomo why she is never clingy with Jun when he is super clingy with her. And Tomo confesses that she had never noticed it. After school, Tomo hugs Jun from behind and he is so surprised that he lets go right away and tells her that she can't do that. Then, Tomo complains because he always does it, but he says that just him can do it, and she gets angry and punches him. On Saturday morning, Jun wakes Tomo up and she can't believe he's in her room and starts yelling at him, but he excuses himself by saying that her dad sent him to wake her up. The screams wake up Akemi, Tomo's mother, and she is just as scary as Tomo. Then they go to have a nutritious breakfast made by Tomo, and Jun asks where her dad is, and Akemi answers that he is always in the dojo because he's still shy around her, even though they've been married for years. And to prove it, she goes to the dojo with them, and as soon as her husband sees her, he blushes and faints with love. After that, Tomo tells Jun that her dad always behaved like that with her mom and she thinks that's lame. But Jun gets serious and asks her if it's wrong for a boy to behave lovesick with a girl, and she feels uncomfortable, so he ends up agreeing that it's lame. On Monday, Carol asks Tomo to eat alone with Jun because she wants to eat on the rooftop alone with Misuzu to ask her for love advice. Jun is delighted with the idea because he loves spending time alone with Tomo, but she feels self-conscious because all of their classmates are staring at them and whispering about whether they are already a couple. On the roof, Carol tells Misuzu that she will soon understand her love problems. At that moment, Masaki arrives and begins to treat Carol tenderly, and she tells Masaki that Misuzu is her new friend. That makes Masaki so happy that he almost cries and thanks Misuzu, asking her to take care of Carol. When he leaves, Misuzu says that her love problems are worse than Tomo's because Masaki sees Carol as a little sister. In the afternoon, Tomo's friends go to ask her for help. It turns out that the leader of a gang of third-year wants to go out with Ogawa, and rumors say that girls who reject him are bullied for an entire year. So Tomo accompanies the girls to talk to this guy, and since the guy insists on going out with Ogawa, Tomo gives him what he deserves and breaks his ribs with a kick, and she assures the girls that if that guy wants revenge, will only go against her. And she is right since the guy gathers his gang to attack Tomo together, but this is heard by Jun, who confronts them and gives them what they deserve. And that is not all. He forces the entire gang to apologize on their knees to Tomo for only having planned to attack her. The day starts with Carol inviting Misuzu and Tomo to spend time with her on the weekend, and she draws them a cute map to get to her house. And they are surprised when they arrive and see that Carol's house is a mansion, and not only that, but her mother is also just like Carol. She is an adult version. They spend the day drinking tea, looking at photos of Carol as a child and playing board games, and to Misuzu and Tomo's surprise, Carol is very good at playing these intelligence games, which is a contrast to her bubbly personality. The next day, Tomo is desperate because the next day are the midterm exams and she didn't even remember it. Jun wants to be her tutor, but Misuzu says that she is number 1 in the grade ranking, so she takes Tomo to study with Carol. At Misuzu's house, her mother is surprised to see Tomo because she looks just like Akemi did when she was a teenager, and she is enchanted by Carol. They go to Misuzu's room and start studying hard, but to Misuzu and Tomo's surprise, Carol is a math genius and she doesn't need to study, but she loves spending time with them. Days later, the notes are published and Tomo and Jun did well, but the surprise is that Misuzu ranks second, while Carol is first. After that, Jun tells Tomo that he bought a new video game, and they both remember the sleepless nights they had when they played as children. So he invites her to stay at his house all night playing video games since there is no school tomorrow, and she gladly accepts. But she later realizes that she agreed to spend the night with him, and she doesn't stop blushing all day. In the afternoon, she tells her mother that she is going to spend the night with Jun, but she misinterprets it and says that she will start thinking about her future grandchildren, although Tomo clarifies that they will only play games. When she arrives at Jun's house, he says that his parents are not there, and she gets nervous, although he doesn't know why. After eating, she goes to take a shower and he almost goes into the bathroom to give her a new towel, but she stops him and he slaps himself for almost going into the bathroom knowing that Tomo is their name. While she dries her hair, he feels a little self-conscious but pretends that nothing is wrong and they start playing video games. But when she loses, he makes fun of her and they start to fight playfully, but they separate when he's about to be on top of her. At night, Tomo sleeps in Jun's bed, while he sleeps on a futon on the floor, so she takes advantage of the fact that he is asleep to observe his face closely. But a sleeping Jun puts her in a headlock and she cannot escape, and the two sleep together on the futon. In the morning, Jun wakes up and almost faints when he realizes that he slept hugging Tomo. So when she wakes up, he pretends to be asleep on the wall. At her house, she finally remembers that she slept next to Jun on the futon. The days go by, and they can't forget what happened. Weeks later is Tomo's birthday, and Jun gifts her sunglasses, and Tomo is very happy, while Misuzu gives her books so she can study better, and Carol gives her a gold bar. Then Misuzu says that they will use that gold bar to give Tomo a makeover at her house. In the afternoon, the three friends meet, and Misuzu and Carol make up and dress Tomo in a very feminine way. They even put a wig on her, and Tomo looks totally different, so the girls send Tomo to buy them ice cream dressed like that. At the convenience store, the guys can't stop admiring Tomo's beauty. Even Jun doesn't recognize her, but when she trips, he helps her. Then Tomo takes courage and asks Jun to walk together for a while, even though he doesn't recognize her, but on the way, they stop to watch a children's soccer game and see a girl and a boy playing on the same team, and she says that surely they are best friends. That makes Jun thoughtful, and he asks her what she thinks will happen to those children when they grow up, and Tomo says that they will become boyfriend and girlfriend. That depresses Jun, and he says that he is going through a similar situation, but his current goal is to beat her, and he notices that the ice creams are melting and Tomo runs away. She arrives at Misuzu's house and discovers that they prepared a surprise party for her with a handmade cake made by them. Days later, the ball sports tournament begins and Tomo is transferred to the boys' team because she is too strong to compete against girls. So Jun can't get over the joy of being able to be on the same team as her. Jun and Tomo's team go through rounds with overwhelming victories until they reach the finals, and they are a little worried because they will face the strongest boy in the entire school, Takeru. He is the captain of the judo's team. Before starting the match, Takeru tells Tomo that she looks like a little fairy since she won't be able to match him in strength. That makes Tomo happy, but Takeru says that he is interested in Jun. If his team wins, Jun has to join the judo team. The match begins and Takeru is a savage. He hits the ball with so much force that he almost faints those he hits. So when he tries to hit Tomo with the ball, Jun stands in the way to receive the hit. That makes Tomo so angry that she herself wins the match and thus the final. After the tournament, Tomo reflects that she wishes things would never change between her and Jun, since she had a lot of fun playing on the same team as Jun. Meanwhile, Takeru challenges Jun to a match of strength, but he is defeated again and again since they fight without rules. So Jun does not take it as a victory because he thinks that he will never be able to beat Tomo in a real match, and he just wants to be like her. Summer break begins and Jun goes out for a run, remembering the first time he met Tomo. He had just moved from Tokyo, and she approached him to play video games with him, but back then, she was more strong than him and broke his video game, and he got so angry that he hit her but barely tickled her. But she felt so bad about breaking something precious to him. So in exchange, she offered to be his best friend, and he accepted. As time went by, their friendship grew until Tomo introduced him to Misuzu. At that time, she was already a little grumpy, so they didn't get along well because they both wanted Tomo's friendship. One day, some thugs attacked Jun and took away his video game, and he didn't tell Tomo. But she realized what happened and went to confront them alone and managed to get Jun's video game back. But he felt humiliated because if it were the other way around, he couldn't do that for her. So little Jun made a decision at that moment. He gave his video game to Tomo and said that he would take it back the day he is stronger than her. And the next day, he started his karate classes with Tomo's dad. 10 years have passed since that promise, and he believes that he is still not stronger than Tomo, but she thinks otherwise. The next day, the four of them decide to go to the beach to enjoy the sea. But Misuzu has a plan in hand. She wants Jun to see Tomo in a swimsuit, since he has never seen her without shirts. As always, she is right. When Jun convinces Tomo to take off the jacket that covered her bikini, he is greatly surprised when he sees her voluptuous body, so he tries to avoid her as much as he can, because every time he sees her, he can't help but look at her. Misuzu realizes this and tells Tomo that this moment is crucial. She must not leave Jun's side, and since Tomo is having such a good time on the beach, she becomes uninhibited and behaves as usual with him, which makes him Jun gets hot. At the end of the day, as they head home, Misuzu teases Jun and tells him that it seems like he didn't have a good day at the beach, and he says that something happened. Misuzu concludes that he is finally realizing that Tomo is a girl. Summer break is coming to an end, and Misuzu and Carol convince Tomo to go see the fireworks show with Jun. Then, Tomo goes to ask Jun, and he agrees to go with her, although he doesn't show the happiness that he always feels when he is alone with Tomo. But when he is alone, he is glad to be able to be alone with her since their trip to the beach. He feels a strange feeling towards Tomo. The next night, Jun waits patiently for Tomo and is surprised to see her wearing a feminine yukata that enhances her beauty. She shines so much that he feels hypnotized by her, but he soon composes himself, and they both enjoy this summer festival, until some boys bother Tomo because they think she is alone and Jun scares them away with his gaze. Tomo then tries to thank him, but he apologizes for butting up since he thinks she could have gotten rid of those guys alone, but she kits him and asks him to let her thank him since there are some things she doesn't know how to do and get rid of annoying guys. That moves Jun, and he almost hugs her without noticing it, but he regrets it at the last moment. The fireworks are about to start, and Tomo finds the courage to confess her feelings to him again. But she regrets it because if he rejects her, their friendship would end, so they both watch the fireworks in silence. When they return home, Jun has a disconcerting realization he won't be able to get into a punching match with her again. He finally sees Tomo as a girl. School starts again, but something has changed. Jun feels self-conscious when it comes to interacting with Tomo. Instead of hugging her from behind like every morning, he greets her with his pinky. She frustratedly tells Misuzu and Carol about the new situation, and Misuzu thinks that everything is going wrong and she has to fix it. After school, Misuzu is surrounded by the school's They want revenge because Tomo doesn't let them do bad things at school, so they want to get eaten by Misuzu, but she doesn't get scared until Carol comes to her helps and electrocutes them with a taser. That gives them time to escape, but Carol falls into a puddle and leaves trails of water to an abandoned factory where they hide, and Misuzu calls Jun to come rescue them and tells him not to tell Tomo what is happening. This surprises Carol, but it's all Misuzu's plan. Jun is about to go help the girls, but Tomo is smart and knows that something is wrong, so he has no choice but to tell her, and this is heard by Masaki. They arrive at the factory and the two easily take care of the gang of thugs as a team. While that is happening, Misuzu helps Carol change her clothes since Carol is completely wet and covered in mud, but at that moment, Masaki appears and sees Carol and thinks the worst. It's as if a demon has possessed Masaki and he is restrained by Jun and Tomo, as he wants to eliminate the gang leader because he thinks they did indecent things to Carol. Then Misuzu speaks to the gang and tells them that Tomo is the daughter of Goro Aizawa, the famous strongest boy who was in the school in the past. That scares the gang because they know Goro's story and his dojo, and she makes them swear that they would always protect Tomo and her friends, or else they would have to deal with Goro. After that, Jun tells Misuzu that he finds it suspicious that she didn't do that sooner, and even more suspicious that she led him to the warehouse alone and she plays dumb. The next day, Tomo waits for Jun, and this time he greets her by hugging her from behind her. Apparently, Misuzu's plan worked, since Jun returns to behaving the same as before towards Tomo. Days later, Masaki enrolls in Goro's dojo to become stronger, but he can barely keep up with Tomo and Jun. And to make matters worse, his first match is against Jun, and he innocently tells him that he admires Tomo a lot. That angers Jun, who does not control his strength and defeats him with a single punch. Later, Tomo apologizes on Jun's behalf and tells Masaki that she knows he wants to get stronger for Carol, and Masaki says that she is always getting into trouble, so he should get stronger. The next day, Masaki tells Carol that he enrolled in Tomo's dad's dojo, and she doesn't understand why, so he tells her that he wants to be like Tomo, since she can defend whoever she wants, but Carol gets jealous because she realizes that Masaki admires Tomo a lot. Then she wants to make Masaki jealous and decides to spend time with Jun. He doesn't understand what she wants, but agrees to spend the afternoon with her. He soon regrets it when she invites herself to his room. She tells him that because of him, her love situation is a mess, although he doesn't know what she's talking about, and when she climbs on top of him to torture him, he flees to Tomo's house. She immediately asks him what he's doing with Carol, but he just hugs her because he feels guilty for what Carol almost did. The next day, Carol tells Masaki about her day with Jun. He is jealous but doesn't show it, which makes Carol sad, so she tells Misuzu that everything is still the same with Masaki. Then Misuzu says that she will help her this time. After that, Masaki is still sad, and Misuzu goes to see him and asks him what he feels about Carol. He says that he loves her, but for him, Carol is unattainable. She seems like a smiling angel. She never loses her smile, and he is sure that if he ever leaves her life, she won't care. Misuzu can't believe that they are both so obtuse and don't see their feelings clearly, so she says that she will take it upon herself to show him that Carol is human and has feelings. But Misuzu crosses the line and tells Carol that Masaki said he doesn't have feelings for her and he never will, which completely breaks Carol, and she runs away to her house. Misuzu realizes that she screwed up and runs to tell Masaki what happened, and he immediately follows Carol. When he arrives at Carol's mansion, her mother greets him with a headbutt and tells him where Carol's room is. He enters and finds her crying in a flood of tears. He had never seen her like this, and immediately told her that what Misuzu said is a lie. He loves her. This angers Carol, and she starts hitting her pillows, and he explains to her that Misuzu was only helping him understand his feelings. This calms Carol down and tells him that she loves him, but she doesn't know how long, since she feels like she fell in love at first sight of him when they met as children, and when she wants to kiss him. Her mother interrupts them so they don't do something wrong. After that, they drink tea, and Carol's mom tells them that Carol doesn't show her feelings because one time when little Carol was crying, she told her that she looked prettier smiling, and since that time, Carol has never stopped smiling, and Masaki says that he will never make her cry again, so she can keep smiling. The next day at school, Misuzu is worried about Carol, but she appears wearing a rabbit head and scares her, so she feels that they are even. It's the day of the school marathon. Jun and Tomo are excited to be able to compete. They quickly take the lead, and Jun feels happy to be able to compete against Tomo. But suddenly, she faints from exhaustion. It turns out that yesterday, she went out to run for hours and now she does not have the strength to continue the marathon. Jun freaks out without knowing what to do to help her. Then he puts her on a piggyback ride on his back and runs to the end of the marathon. After that, Tomo wakes up in the school infirmary and realizes that Misuzu is very worried about her. Although the nurse assured her that she only has a cold, so Misuzu tells Tomo that she should take advantage of the fact that she is sick to be clingy with Jun. So when Jun tells Tomo that her mother is waiting for her in a taxi outside, she asks him to carry her on a piggyback, and he does so, blushing. The next day, Jun goes to Tomo's house to see how she is, and she claims that she feels fine, and to Jun's surprise, she gives him back his video game that he gave her 10 years ago. She says that he has shown that he is stronger than her, but you should not even think that he can beat her in other areas. After that, Jun remembers the day he found out that Tomo was a girl. The day of the middle school ceremony, Jun was overjoyed to attend the same school as Tomo, but he is surprised when he sees her wearing the girl's uniform. And to make matters worse, in middle school they thought that they were a couple because they were always together, and he thought that this gossip could make Tomo uncomfortable, since that would bother any girl, so Jun little by little distanced himself from Tomo that year. Time passed, and Misuzu realized that Tomo was becoming unattainable for her, as she was becoming stronger and more athletic, and that was something she couldn't keep up with, so Misuzu needed Jun to be Tomo's friend again so she will calm. She went to talk to Jun to fix things once and for all, since it is obvious that he is not making friends at school because he does not want to replace Tomo. And to her surprise, Jun asks her to go out, since he had the idea that if he got a girlfriend, the gossip would stop and he could go back to being Tomo's best friend and spend all of high time with her, and the only girl who would understand his relationship with Tomo is Misuzu. But for Misuzu, those 2 days of dating were hell, because it was like dating Tomo, with the difference that she didn't feel even a bit of affection for Jun, so she gives up and painfully accepts that Tomo will walk away from her side eventually. And when she told Tomo that her friend laughed at that ridiculous thought and told her that their friendship is like an athlete and a doctor, different but equal, that pleased Misuzu, and she decided to end the dating farce since she didn't need it anymore. But Jun beat her to it and broke up with her first, since he didn't really like spending time with her alone, and he took the courage to apologize to Tomo for ignoring her all year. He then explains to her that he walked away from her because he was afraid that the gossip would make her uncomfortable, but she gets him and says that she doesn't care what other people think, they are friends. That moves Jun, and he told her that he wanted to always be by her side. Jun's birthday is approaching and Tomo needs money to buy him a gift, so she decides to take a part-time job, and Misuzu and Carol join the idea. This is heard by Tanabe. It turns out that his family has a ramen restaurant and they need help for a few days because his mother is not there, and they gladly accept the job. Although Tomo feels uncomfortable wearing the waitress outfit, and to make matters worse, Jun frequently goes to eat ramen there. So the two are surprised to see each other, and he blushes when he sees how pretty Tomo looks in her waitress outfit. After 3 days, Tanabe's father thanks them for their help and pays them their salary, and to Tomo's good surprise, Jun was waiting outside to walk her home. He tells her that his ramen tasted better when she brought it to him, so he congratulates her for her good work. On Jun's birthday, she gave him a watch and a cake, but he says that his parents are not at home, so they should go to her house to eat the cake. So Tomo thinks that things have finally changed between them, since before he didn't mind being alone with her in his house. The next day, Tomo tells Misuzu that her plans finally paid off, since things between her and Jun are changing, so she asks her to make another plan to bring them closer. And this time, Misuzu thinks of a slightly extreme plan. She's going to push Jun down the stairs, and Tomo is going to catch him with her chest. Tomo doesn't really agree with the plan, but she accepts it anyway. When Jun approaches, Misuzu pushes him down the stairs, and Tomo is ready to catch him. But Jun thinks he is going to hit Tomo and deflects his fall, and to his bad luck, he falls into Carol's chest. He is so embarrassed that he asks Tomo to hit him to make up for the grievance. After that, Misuzu reflects that this time she crossed the line, and as divine retribution, she trips on the stairs and falls on Tanabe. And since she is a little confused, she tells him to ask her for anything as payment for having saved her, and Tanabe asks for her phone number. 3 days later, Misuzu still doesn't go back to school due to a cold, so Tomo goes to Misuzu's house to bring her candy to make her feel better. But she is not able to look at her face because she feels guilty for what is happening. Tomo, before leaving, tells her to stop overthinking things. The next day, Misuzu finds out that Carol proposed that she be Cinderella in the school's cultural festival play, and Misuzu is so angry that she is determined to break Carol's cheeks by pulling them. After that, the rehearsal begins, and Misuzu's grumpy personality comes to light, scaring the girls who are Cinderella's stepsisters, so she takes Tomo to practice on the roof, since she has the role of the prince. Tomo thinks that she is not doing it well, but Misuzu tells her to act like she always does, and this time her dialogues are perfect. But Misuzu can't stop thinking that Tomo has a lot of insecurities because in the past, when she confessed to her that she liked Jun, the first advice she gave Tomo was, try to act like a girl. Days later, the students try on their costumes, and Tomo looks handsome while Misuzu looks beautiful, and Jun, who is a tree, looks funny. On the way home, Tomo continues practicing her lines and asks Jun for help, so he takes on the role of princess and tries to act like a shy girl. The day of the culture festival begins, and Tomo's class performs their Cinderella play, and it is a complete success. Misuzu is a little grumpy, but looks beautiful in her Cinderella dress, while Tomo gets a lot of fans for looking handsome in her prince outfit. Even Tomo's dad praises Jun's performance as a tree. After that, Tomo and Jun walk around the festival, competing in games and eating at different stalls. At the end of the day, Jun invites Tomo to dance at the bonfire, and she accepts. While they dance, Tomo tells him that she understands that he invited her to dance because she is his friend, but perhaps the others think that he invited her for something else, and Jun says that they would not be wrong. That surprises Tomo and she flees the dance. The days go by and winter has arrived, but things have changed between Jun and Tomo. She now feels very self-conscious being next to him, so she behaves energetically, but every time he wants to talk to her about something, she runs away. Carol and Misuzu suspect that something happened between them at the bonfire dance, although Tomo denies it. Then Jun goes to ask Masaki for love advice since he is dating Carol, and Masaki tells him that it is best for him to be honest with Tomo and tell her his feelings. Jun agrees, but first he goes to talk to Misuzu and apologizes for dating her in middle school even though he already liked Tomo back then, and Misuzu can't believe he still thinks about that 3-day relationship, and not only that, Jun thanks her because he realized that she has been trying to match him and Tomo, but she plays dumb. After that, Jun leaves Tomo a letter challenging her to a duel on the roof, and she accepts without knowing that the letter is from Jun and runs to the roof, but there, she is locked up by Jun, and he asks her to hit him, but Tomo doesn't understand why. Then Jun confesses that when she confessed her feelings to him at the beginning of high school, he pretended that he didn't understand her. That makes Tomo very angry, and she gives him what he wants, a punch in his face, but when she's about to leave, he confesses that he also loves her. Tomo blushes like a tomato and runs away, telling him that he is a dumbass. Tomo tells the girls what happened and can't believe she ruined her chance, and she's confused because she doesn't even know what will change between them if they start dating. After all, they hang out all the time. Then Misuzu gathers courage and tells her that everything is her fault and apologizes, crying, since it was not necessary for Tomo to act more girly in front of Jun. She was already fine the way she was, and because of her, now Tomo has insecurities, but Tomo tells her that she was the one who made her make those crazy plans and thanks her for being her best friend. And this time, Misuzu gives her a last love advice to go to him and settle all this the way she always does. After that, Tomo runs out and finds Jun and asks him for another chance. She wants to talk to him. She asks him again if he loves her, and he repeatedly tells her that he loves her. Tomo thinks it is in a dream but gets sad and asks if they won't be best buds anymore, but he says that he still wants to have their friendship, but Tomo says that they can't be a couple and buds at the same time, so Jun wants to show her that they can. Suddenly, he runs up the stairs to the temple, and she follows him and beats him. Then Jun tells her that when they are a couple, he still wants to continue competing with her, since she is his childhood friend, his best bud, his rival, and the girl he loves. That confession moves Tomo, and she tells him that she loves him too, and that makes Jun so happy that he faints. The days go by and Jun is now more relaxed, but the problem is that he is very gentlemanly. So Carol suggests that Tomo kiss him, and Misuzu suggests that they watch a romantic movie, so he takes the first step to kiss. On the winter break, Jun and Tomo meet at the cinema, and he is amazed watching her because Tomo looks very pretty and he tells her so, although they both blush. Tomo tells him that they will watch a romantic movie and Jun blushes just thinking about it, but Tomo didn't realize that the movie would have risk scenes, so she can barely watch it, although Jun did focus on the movie. After the movie, they go to eat, and he tells her that before he didn't feel related to romantic movies, but since they are dating, he sees them in a different way, which makes Tomo blush. So he gives her a Christmas gift, a pair of beautiful earrings that look good on Tomo, and she gives him a hand-knitted scarf. He likes it so much that he puts it on right away. As they walk home, Tomo is a little disappointed that she didn't get a kiss from him. So she tells Jun that they will go to his house, and he agrees, nervous because his parents aren't there. In Jun's room, they feel awkward and can barely see each other, so Tomo can't take it anymore and says that she wants to kiss him, and he gets nervous, so she thinks that she doesn't have a feminine appeal. Although Jun can't stop thinking about the adult scenes in the movie and punches himself and confesses to Tomo that he's being a gentleman because he only thinks about kissing her and touching her, but he wants to do things right because he hasn't even asked her to be his girlfriend yet. Tomo doesn't understand why he hasn't done it yet, and Jun says that after he confessed that he loved her, he went to her home to ask for her parents' blessing. Her mother was delighted, but her dad told him that if he wanted to go out with Tomo, he must beat him in a duel first. Tomo can't believe what she hears and runs to her house to confront her father, and she yells at him that she hates him for not allowing her relationship with Jun. Then Jun's father gets to, and Tomo refuses to talk to anyone during the entire winter break. Back at school, Jun tries to talk to Tomo, but she's still angry because he didn't tell her that her dad made that stupid condition. After that, she tells the girls and they ask if Jun will be able to beat her father, and Tomo is a little pessimistic and thinks that maybe he will be able to beat her dad in a few years. But after school, Jun informs Tomo that he will challenge her dad today. At the dojo, Jun challenges Goro and they fight hard, but Jun can't even hit him. Meanwhile, Tomo talks to Masaki and he tells her that Jun was worried all winter break because what he wants most is to date her, and maybe he will feel more motivated if cheers him in the fight. And he's right. Tomo comes running to the dojo and tells Jun that if he loses in the fight, she will take his place because they are a team. But Jun doesn't plan to give up and realizes that Goro is testing him He doesn't want his daughter to be with someone who can't defend her, so he puts all his strength into one last punch and defeats Goro. Tomo starts jumping with joy, and although Goro can still continue fighting, his wife hits him to make him leave the couple alone. After that, they go outside and Tomo is about to ask him to be her boyfriend, but Jun beats her to it and asks her to be his girlfriend, and since she doesn't want to be left behind, she kisses him and tells him that from now on, she will make his heart race a lot, and he's fine with that, and they hug happily.